In this video, we'll start creating the listing for publishing our app on Google Play Store. I'm now logged into my Google Play Developer Console. From here, I have access to the apps that I have already published, or I can upload a new app and publish it. In order to be able to make your app available through the store, there are a few steps to complete. We have to create a listing for the app by providing more info about it. Let's get started. First, I will click on Add New Application. Next, I get to choose the default language that the app is using. In my case, that is English US. Then I will have to enter the title for the app. We will discuss more about how to select a name for your app shortly. Next, I get to choose between uploading the APK file, the one that I have created in the previous lesson, and preparing the store listing. I will choose the second option in order to continue with the listing. From the left menu, you have access to all the steps that you need to complete in order to be able to submit your app. Store listing is the one that we are currently working on. Other items include the APK upload, the price and distribution panel, in-app products, services and APIs, and optimization tips. On the right top side, we have a menu that specifies the state of our app. From here, you can publish the app when all the required steps are completed. Back to our main window, you can add translations to your app by clicking the Add Translation button. You can select a title for the app, as we discussed earlier, enter a description for it, and provide a promo text. Next, you can upload screenshots of your app for different types of devices like phone, 7-inch tablets, and 10-inch tablets. Then you have the chance to provide a high-resolution icon for the app, add a feature graphic, and the promo graphic. We'll see shortly what all these options are. Next is a promo video, which is actually a YouTube video that shows to your potential users what are the features of your app. Then we get to choose the type of application that we want to publish, along with a category and a content rating. For the application type, I will choose game and racing for the category. For content rating, I will choose everyone, but that depends on the app that you're publishing. Next, you can provide a website for more info, an email address, and a phone number. I'll just fill the email address field in this case. And lastly, if you wish to provide a privacy policy URL for this app, you get the chance to do it in the next field, but I will check the option to not submitting a privacy policy at this time. Phew, there is quite a lot of information to provide for your app. Let's start from the beginning with detailed explanation of these fields. We'll begin by selecting the name for our app. You have to be descriptive in your app name. For non-games apps, it means that your app name needs to be as explicit as possible from the very beginning. You don't want people to see a non-relevant name when they are looking for something. You also need to state what your app does in the name. Just like for regular SEO, if a keyword or combination of keywords for your app name is overused, then you try to come with something different like a synonym of that keyword. Better to be in the top 5 results for an average search keyword than in the top 1000 for a highly searched keyword. Doing that well might not bring you to the top app ranks, but it will definitely give you better results. Writing your app description. Try to use the keywords at least 5 times in your app description. Unlike on the App Store, where the app description is not searchable, on Google Play Store you want to make sure to repeat with a good frequency your main keywords. So try to put the most important information there. like your best app pitch for example, a sentence that explains clearly what your app does and why it's better than other apps. If you received a specific award that most people know, you might consider putting it there too. A lot of users don't read your full app description before making their choice, so keep as a rule to put the most important stuff on top. Just after that, I like to put the best quotes the app got from blog reviews, of course mentioning the blog's website. People trust these reviews too, especially if they know the blog. Also, it's a good way of thanking the blogs that talk about your app. Try to find a way to highlight those reviews with something like stars. Now that people basically know what your app does and that everyone loves it, you can get into more details for the ones that haven't already gone back to your app screenshots. You can list the main benefits of your app and explain more in depth how it works. You can then get into some technical aspects by listing features using dash for example, and then explaining in the line what is it. For example, lots of different vehicles, numerous levels, share your score with a screenshot with your friends, cool graphics and smooth physics simulation, designed to look good on low resolution and high resolution devices, including tablets. Promo text. This text shows underneath your promo graphic on feature pages. Officially, Google says the promo and feature graphics are optional. You should consider them as a requirement though. The feature graphic is required to get your app featured anywhere in their app store and greatly enhances your app page. Excellent screenshots are another critical element of your app listing. The required numbers of screenshots is quite low, but here again it pays to submit more. This is your best opportunity to show people what they can expect if they install your app. You can upload up to 8 screenshots for each supported device platform: phone, 7-inch tablet, and 10-inch tablet. To publish your store listing, you must provide a minimum of 2 screenshots. JPEG or 24-bits PNG are accepted. Minimum dimension is 320 pixels and the maximum dimension is 3840 pixels. Let's see how we can capture some screenshots from our app. We are going to use the Eclipse's DDMS, which stands for Dalvik Debug Monitor Server, in order to capture these screenshots. You can either use the emulator for that or a real device. So, back in Eclipse, we launch our game by pressing the Run button and we'll wait for the game to appear in our emulator. We then switch to the debug monitor by pressing the DDMS button in the right upper corner, and then we can see the emulator that is currently running our app. We select the emulator from the list and then press the small button that looks like a camera, having the tooltip Screen Capture. A new window appears which will display a screen captured from our emulator. We choose the Save button in order to be able to save the image, and we'll pick a location for our image file, something like the desktop for simplicity in this case. Next, we continue the game in our emulator and we return to the DDMS screen to take further screenshots. You want to make sure that you take screenshots of the most important screens of your game. If your game, for example, has some features that you think are unique or are going to impress your users, don't forget to capture those too. As soon as you have your screenshots available, you can add it to the listing. One thing that I like to do with my screenshots is to put them in a frame, something like a phone or tablet mockup. That will make them look more professional in my opinion. There are lots of services or programs that will allow you to do that, but in this lesson we are going to use a tool from the Android's developers website. So, I'm going to search for Device Frame Generator Android, in Google and pick the first link that appears in the results page. You are then presented with 3 choices for devices, a Nexus 5 phone and 2 tablets, Nexus 7 and Nexus 10. Again, the Nexus line of devices are produced for Google by several manufacturers like LG, Asus, Samsung, etc. In order to apply the screenshots to the device, we simply drag and drop the image that we saved earlier over the device. A preview of how the whole picture will look is then displayed. You can disable the screen glare effect of the device or the shadow at the bottom of the picture. Another option is to rotate the device in case you develop an application for landscape mode, for example. To save the final result, you simply drag the image back from the browser to a location in your computer. This is how the screenshot that we'll use in our listing will look. I think that the screenshot looks more professional and more appealing to the user than simply a capture of your game screen. Next, I want to do the same thing but with a tablet device. I will drag another image from my desktop into the Nexus 7 tablet. As you can see, we encounter a problem here. The error displayed is telling us that the aspect ratio for the picture that we are trying to use is not correct. In other words, the screenshot that we took from our emulator, which is the Nexus 5 device, a phone, will be too small to be displayed correctly on a larger screen like the one of Nexus 7. We have to obtain a larger image if we want to do that. We either resize the original image to the specified dimensions or simply use another emulator or real device to take that screenshot. Another option will be to simply install a new emulator in our system. We can do that by switching back to Genymotion and looking for a Nexus 7 virtual device from the list. We pick the one that we want to install and click Next to proceed with the installation. I will not go again through the process of installing another emulator, but you got the idea already. You can install as many emulators as you need. Okay, I managed to generate the screenshots for my 7-inch tablet, and there is one more step to generate the screenshots for the 10-inch tablet. I will not do that right now, but you've already seen how this can be done. You'll need to upload tablet screenshots in order for your app to be displayed in the Designed for Tablets section of Google Play. In case that your app is not compatible with tablets, the phone screenshots will be enough. Video, if available, will always be the first thumbnail shown in Google Play. It will be followed left to right by the screenshots best suited for the device the user is browsing on. On the Google Play Web Store, tablet screenshots are prioritized and appear before phone screenshots, so keep that in mind when creating your listing. To publish your store listing, a high-res icon is required. This icon is used in various locations on Google Play. The requirements for the high-resolution icon are 32 bits PNG, optional with alpha channel. Dimensions 512 by 512 pixels, and a maximum file size of 1 MB. The high-res icon does not replace your app's launcher icon, but should be a higher fidelity, higher resolution version of it, following the same guidelines. In my case, I already have the 512 by 512 pixels image. It is the one that came included with the source code. I will just upload it here, and that's all I need to do for now. Next is the feature graphic. The feature graphic is used for promotions on Google Play. While this graphic is not required to save and publish your store listing, it is required in order to be featured on Google Play. Feature graphic requirements includes JPEG or 24-bit PNG file without alpha channel, dimensions of 1024 by 500 pixels. This graphic may be displayed alone without the IP icon. If incorporating text, use large font sizes and keep the graphic simple, as this graphic may be scaled down from its original size. Next is the promo graphic. The promo graphic is used for promotions on older versions of Android operating system, earlier than 4.0. This image is not required to save and publish your store listing. Promo graphic requirements are a JPEG or 24-bit PNG file without alpha channel, and the dimensions by 180 by 120 pixels. Then is the promo video. You can add a promotional YouTube video to Google Play by entering a URL in this field. While a promo video is not required, it is highly recommended as a fun, engaging way to show your potential users the features of your app. Keep your videos short, from 30 seconds up to 2 minutes, and focus on the most compelling features first. If you have a device running Android 4.4 KitKat or above, use the ADB shell command screen record to capture video directly from your device. Next, you get to choose the category for your app. In our case, I will choose game as application type and racing as category. For content rating, we'll select everyone, and we move to the contact details fields. Here you can specify a website in case you have one, an email address and a phone number. And last are the privacy policy settings. You can include a web page containing the privacy policy for the app, but I choose not to submit such a web page by clicking the Not Submitting a Privacy Policy URL at this time checkbox. Phew, that was a lot to do. But the store listing is the most important part that you will have to set up for your application. Finally, we are going to click Save in order to save all these important settings. Next thing that we still haven't set up is the pricing and distribution for our app. These are also important settings that could help you make some profits with your app. As you can see here, at this time the Google Merchant account was not yet available for me. That's why only the free option is enabled. In case you want to sell your app or use in-app purchases inside your app, you will have to sign up for a merchant account with Google, as we discussed earlier. The problem with the merchant account is that you will not be able to create this account from any country. Google is working to extend these services pretty fast too. Back on our page, you can select the countries that you want your app to be published to. I usually click on Select All Countries here, but in case you want to restrict your app appearance in some countries, here is the place to do it. You can even restrict it by carriers in some countries, like in Canada for example. Next, the opt-in checkbox will allow you to include your application in the Google for Education program. In order to restrict promotion of your app across Google-owned online or mobile properties, you must check the Marketing Opt-out checkbox on your app's pricing and distribution page. I will just save the settings for now and looks like we still haven't completed this step because the checkmark for pricing and distribution is still gray. But let's upload our APK next and we'll get back to this page after that. Okay, in order to upload the APK or the application package or the actual application that we created, we click on APK in the left menu and the new page is displayed that will allow us to upload the APK file to production. A few words first about what the production means in this context. If you develop an Android application and want to publish it online, you have a couple of options to do that. First, you can upload the application in a program called alpha or beta testing. In this case, your application is not available to the public, but only to some persons that you choose. Why will you want to do that? By distributing the application to a group of people only, you will give them the chance to test your application and provide you a real-world feedback for it. Google Play makes it easy to distribute pre-releases versions of your app to alpha and beta test groups anywhere in the world. Now, back to our subject, we simply don't want to upload to alpha or beta testing right now, so we choose the Upload Your First APK to Production button. Next, we are asked to browse for the application file. I will choose the generated APK file from my desktop and will proceed with the upload. Next, let's see what we forgot to set up in the pricing and distribution panel for our app. Looks like, down on the bottom of the page, there are a few options that I didn't use. The first one is Google Play for Education. This is a program run by Google. I will click Continue and then we'll get to choose if my app contains any ads or in-app purchases. In my case, the app contains advertising, but no in-app purchases at this time, so I will select the proper options here and will click Save. I will then check the other options available, the one for marketing opt-out, the content guidelines, and the US export laws, and click on Save again. Good, a checkmark appeared in the pricing and distribution section now, which means that our settings are complete here. Next, let's take a look at in-app products. Here we can see that we cannot set up any in-app products to our app yet because we don't have a Google Merchant account enabled at this time. The in-app products are items that you could sell through your game, either consumables like hints, lives, etc., or non-consumables items like a new level for your game, a new character, and so on. Next, on the Services and API panel, we can find several license keys for services like Google Cloud Messaging, in-app billing, Google Game Services, and so on. We are not going to use any of these in our app. The final step is to actually publish the app to the Play Store. By selecting the Ready to Publish button in the upper right corner, you can do just that, or you can simply delete this app from Google Developer Console account in case you change your mind and don't want to publish it anymore. Important to notice here is that as soon as you publish your app to the store, you will not be able to delete it anymore. So the delete button is only available before successfully publishing the app. After you publish the app, you can update it or just unpublish it. By unpublishing a new version of your app or an update, you will be able to remove that app version or update from the market. Let's say that the update is not working as expected and you will want to restore to the previous version of the app before the update, but you cannot completely remove an app after you published it to the Play Store. To summarize, in this lesson we created our Google Play Store listing for our app. We started by providing some important information like the title or description and then uploaded our screenshots containing our running app. Next, we discussed about pricing and distribution of our app, and finally we uploaded our newly created application or APK to the store. Last step is to actually publish our app by selecting Publish this app from the Ready to Publish button, but I'm not going to do that because I don't intend to publish this app to the Play Store, or at least not at this time. We had a lot to talk in this lesson. I hope that you enjoyed it. We have a menu that specifies the state of our app. From here you can publish the app when all the required steps are completed. Back to our main window, you can add translations to your app by clicking the Add Translation button. You can select a title for the app, as we discussed earlier, enter a description for it, and provide a promo text. Next, you can upload screenshots of your app for different types of devices like phone, 7-inch tablets, and 10-inch. In this video, we'll start creating the listing for publishing our app on Google Play Store. I'm now logged into my Google Play Developer Console. From here, I have access to the apps that I have already published, or I can upload a new app and publish it. In order to be able to make your app available through the store, there are a few steps to complete. We have to create a listing for the app by providing more info about it. Let's get started. First, I will click on Add New Application. Next, I get to choose the default language that the app is using. In my case, that is English US. Then I will have to enter the title for the app. We will discuss more about how to select a name for your app shortly. Next, I get to choose between uploading the APK file, the one that I have created in the previous lesson, and preparing the store listing. I will choose the second option in order to continue with the listing. From the left menu, you have access to all the steps that you need to complete in order to be able to submit your app. Store listing is the one that we are currently working on. Other items include the APK upload, the price and distribution panel, in-app products, services and APIs, and optimization tips. On the right top side, tablets. Then you have the chance to provide a high resolution icon for the app, add a feature graphic, and the promo graphic. We'll see shortly what all these options are. Next is a promo video, which is actually a YouTube video that shows to your potential users what are the features of your app. Then we get to choose the type of application that we want to publish, along with a category and a content rating. For the application type, I will choose game and racing for the category. For content rating, I will choose everyone, but that depends on the app that you're publishing. Next, you can provide a website for more info, an email address, and a phone number. I'll just fill the email address field in this case. And lastly, if you wish to provide a privacy policy URL for this app, you get the chance to do it in the next field, but I will check the option to not submitting a privacy policy at this time. Phew, there is quite a lot of information to provide for your app. Let's start from the beginning with detailed explanation of these fields. We'll begin by selecting the name for our app. You have to be descriptive in your app name. For non-games apps, it means that your app name needs to be as explicit as possible from the very beginning.